Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to Laura Kane After Dark. I be Laura Kane.
You be Laura Kane?
I be Laura Kane. This be Erik Rimmer.
Hi.
We're BFFs who do a podcast. We've been doing this for like
100 years.
Almost 3 years.
Yes.
We have like 256 episodes.
I think it's more than that.
We've been doing this a while.
We have.
It's a lot of work, but we love it.
Yeah.
And we're so grateful that you are tuning in to our YouTube channel, which we just started. Thank you for watching. And if you would be so kind, please subscribe and hit that like button.
Please subscribe and hit the like button so that Laura doesn't hit me.
I won't hit you. Today, I'm more in a I will cry at the drop of a hat kind of mood. I'm happy, but like I feel anxious, like there's something bubbling up to the surface.
Oh my God! Don't have a meltdown.
I slapped my makeup on like in 5 minutes. My eyelashes are crooked.
I think you look fine.
Oh my God. Okay, thank you. I don't even need to explain this.
No, I think you look great.
I'm so happy we're all here.
Me too. Hi, B.
Hi, B. What's up? Oh my gosh.
Wait, oh my God, wait till you see what he's sick, man.
He's worked some magic and you're going to be impressed.
You really are.
So impressed.
He's awesome. We love him.
All right. First, let's talk about our sponsor, our great sponsor, Sammy's.
Oh my God. I ate there.
You did. So you did go there in the last few days.
I did.
And what did you see? Where did you go? Which one?
I went to the one in Del Mar and it was delicious as usual.
What'd you get?
I got the hot honey pizza, and I got of course, the chicken lettuce cups.
Have you ever seen the cotton candy?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. There's the messy sundae, of course.
Yes.
There's a dessert that they bring out. It's cotton candy on a plate, and it's this big. And it's so cool.
Oh
you
my
just
God.
pick it off and eat it. And it's delicious, just like at the fair, but even better.
Don't tell me stuff like that.
Sammy'sPizza.com. If you want to if you want to look at the menu before you go, I would suggest that. I mean, you don't have to, but why not?
You know what, Matt? I have to call Matt out right now. Matt always tells you that you look great. He never says that I look great.
Well, let's talk about Sammy's.
Oh, yeah,
Does Matt have anything to say about Sammy's?
Matt, do you have anything to say about Sammy's? Sorry,
when
I got off on a tangent.
Evan, this week, we're definitely going to Sammy's because as a mom, I feel like I'm doing the best I can and I'm doing the right thing by taking her to Sammy's because it's very healthy.
It is.
Lots of healthy choices and lots of choices that the kids like. Plus, a date night at Sammy's is awesome.
It is.
You will love all the food, so many different choices, great atmosphere, cool music. There's beer and wine. I mean, they've got it covered, and there's 7 locations.
I know. And
what?
Happy hour from 3 to 6 every day.
I know. I can't imbibe during happy hour, but I love the happy hour vibe. It's so fun.
Right.
Beatrice and I are going to do that soon. We're going to go to happy hour at Sammy's.
Well,
I know.
Wait.
I probably shouldn't have told you that.
That's great.
No, it's not that we're leaving you out. It's like a girl thing. Do you want to be one of the girls?
Yeah. I'll just be the girl that's got a lot of testosterone.
I think that you will be allowed. She loves you.
I love Beatrice too.
And we are, I think, tentatively have a live broadcast for April 29th at the Sammy's in Del Mar. So mark that down on your calendar now.
Matt said his sister-in-law used to work at Sammy's. It's great food. And he said I look great also. Thanks,
really?
Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for that information. You helped the Sammy's ad and you helped his ego too.
Yes, because I was feeling a little bloated today.
Thank you, Sammy's, for being a sponsor. We love having you on the wall back here, and we love your food to death.
Look at that. Right there.
That's Sammy's Pizza.
The wall of fame.
Now we're moving on to my host chat. Okay. Wasn't that cool? My little introduction.
Yes.
I'm exhausted because yesterday and today I did, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 interviews. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Chicago, New Hampshire, and even in San Diego and BuzzFeed about being an Oscar seat filler. The one thing that BuzzFeed got out of it was that I was fired for being a seat filler because I broke the rules. I told one of the people that interviewed me that I did that, and BuzzFeed went with it.
Oh, nice.
That I broke rules and was fired.
You, a rule breaker? I can't imagine.
So I thought I might as well just tell the story since we're going to launch into the Oscars, I'm sure.
Oh,
here
yes.
pretty soon. I don't know if that's your host chat or if that's a lot of the Double D.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So
there's really no other Double Ds to talk about.
I used to be a seat filler at the Oscars and the Emmys, and we had to fill out all these forms, and we had to get background checks, and we had to get those little passport photos taken. We had to get fancy dresses on our own, but we had to submit pictures to make sure that they were okay with it, that it was appropriate, and it didn't outshine the celebrities. We just kind of blended in, you know? And so there's a lot that went on with that. The day started at 10 a.m. We had to be full makeup, full dress, everything by 10 a.m. There was a lot of waiting around, but they just wanted to get everybody ready to go. We had like a sack lunch, which is fine. We waited a lot in a theater, and then it was time for us to line up. So we lined up along the eaves of the theater, and it was a lot of waiting. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, everybody, it's showtime. So there are about like 4 or 5 of the wranglers, and they stand in the audience during the commercials. And when they go to commercials, they come out and they see empty spots, and they'll take each person in line. Okay, you sit there. Okay, you over there. Okay, you there. It's always in the front of the house because that looks the worst if it's empty. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'd sit in a seat for 30 seconds. Your celebrity or whoever would be right back. Sometimes you'd be there for a whole segment. One time I was there the entire show. I don't know who left within like 5 minutes of the show starting, but I was there the whole time, and it was awesome.
I remember who it was.
Who?
It was an actor that lost, and he had a temper tantrum, and you had to stay there the whole time.
Michael Keaton? Is that the one? Who had a temper tantrum?
No, it wasn't Michael Keaton. It was somebody else. Why are we whispering?
I saw Michael Keaton at the Oscars outside shove his acceptance speech in his pocket because he didn't win. He had one all ready to go. I felt so bad. But I sat next to Adele's husband one time because she was up on stage and she was singing her Oscar-nominated song. So I remember thinking, this guy she's married to is a dud. What is she seeing this guy? It's crazy. Like, look at her. She's amazing. And him? He was like not friendly. He just gave off this super bad vibe. And I'm like, well, I'm in Adele's seat. This is super fun. I met Jack Nicholson my first year. And one year, this lady won for best documentary short or something. And I got seated next to her, and she was kind of drunk. And she asked, you're not supposed to speak to the celebrities or anybody unless spoken to. Mind you, we have these giant lanyards around our neck that says seat filler with our picture on it. So people really don't want to talk to us. So she goes, hey, do you want to hold an Oscar? I'm like, yes, I do. So I took the Oscar. I'm like, can you please take a picture of me with the Oscar, please? When am I ever going to get that chance again? And it weighed probably 8 pounds, maybe even more. Those suckers are heavy. Mm-hmm. Well, I had to post the picture because, I mean, come on. Amazing. That's one thing that got me in trouble because you're not supposed to have your camera out during the show. Huge no-no. Do you remember when Ellen did that big group shot with everybody, a big selfie?
Yeah.
I was in the back. So some of the pictures, you can see my face. She gave pizza to everybody. Kevin Spacey handed me a slice of pizza. That was super fun. I mean, we've seen John Travolta and Jared Leto, Leonardo DiCaprio. Bradley Cooper was super cool. We sat up front, like the very front row, for like a couple minutes. And that was really fun too. And at the end of the show, all the celebrities congregate at the front of the theater because they all know each other.
Yeah.
And that was the time when we secretly took out our phone and we're like, you know what? We're just going to go for it. It's against the rules, but we're going to go for it and ask them if we can get selfies with them. And lo and behold, a lot of them were like, okay, reluctantly, some of them, but very nice about it. Sharon Stone was cool.
Yeah.
You know who wasn't cool? Okay. Oh, she was there because Michelle Williams is her best friend.
Oh, I know who you're going to say. Oh.
So I go up to Busy Phillips because people often say that I look like her. And I thought it would be funny and cute if I said, hi, I'm Laura. I just want you to know that a lot of people say that we look alike. She looks at me and she goes, oh. And then looked away. I was like, what? Wow, that was not nice.
If I ever see Bradley Cooper, I'm going to say the same thing to him.
Oh, my God.
People think we look exactly alike.
He'll be nicer than Busy Phillips was.
You probably...
But I made the mistake of doing some interviews with a local TV stations because I got called out one year by Neil Patrick Harris during the show. And so, like, Channel 8 and Channel Fox 5, they wanted to do an interview with me. Well, the Academy got wind of that. They saw it and they're like, this girl does not get to do this anymore. So my days were over. And
I bet they've completely forgotten by now. We should both do it again.
Maybe, but maybe the rules got a whole lot stricter.
Maybe your face is in the back room.
Like with a bunch of other people?
Yeah. People that are never allowed back.
Oh my God. It was so surreal and so cool and big. And everybody was there. All the top celebrities. It was just so cool that I got to experience that.
Oh, yeah.
And my God, how crazy would it have been to experience last night?
Oh, my God.
So
I'm just going to, can I save my host chat for after I do my double Ds?
Does that make you more comfortable? Does this make more sense?
Yes, because we have a lot to talk about.
But you do have host chat.
I do.
Oh, Jesse Lozano from the Jesse and Tati show on Star 94.1 Mornings is coming on the show. And I can't even wait. We can ask him questions that he can't say on the radio, which is super fun.
Excellent.
Okay, let's go to Erik's Double D.
So, let's talk about for just a second the shit show that was the Academy Awards last night.
Okay.
So, we were watching it. I'm just going to go ahead and I'll kind of do it in reverse.
Let me ask you, did you watch it from red carpet to the end of the show?
No, I got there. I had to work, so I got there after the red carpet was over. I got there right after Beyonce sang.
Oh.
So I have to, hopefully, that DVR'd and I can see that part.
Okay. Because I know you love seeing the fashion.
I do. Well, the fashions this year, I'm going to give you my worst and best dressed.
Okay.
Because I did go on and look at what everybody wore.
Okay.
So most of the men look great. Timothy Chalamet wore I think it was a tux or a suit with no shirt.
I liked it.
It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
He's cool. I really like him.
He's cool, but it was just strange. I mean, okay, you're bare-chested at the Academy Awards, whatever. Kristen Stewart and Chanel looked terrible. We've had this discussion before. I think I'm understanding that she was great in Spencer. She was nominated for it. I have not seen it yet. I'm horrible. I'm literally watching The Eyes of Tammy Faye today.
Oh, you haven't seen that before?
I've barely seen anything that was nominated.
Okay.
she was in Chanel. She always looks bothered. I don't know how she keeps getting parts.
Was she wearing like some shorts
Yes.
pantsuit?
It was the weirdest thing. Maggie Gyllenhaal in Chaparelli was in a black dress, and it was a T. It was a perfect T, and it had these big, huge gold like brass knockers on them that went across the top, like the breast and the shoulders.
Okay.
I'll show you a picture. It's so ugly. Billie Eilish and Gucci looked horrible.
She never gets it.
No, it was awful. I mean, she won an Oscar for No Time to Die.
That's great.
What she was wearing was hideous. And Tracy Ellis Ross, my God. She's Diana Ross's daughter. She's on Blackish.
Yes.
I love her. She usually knocks it out of the park. She was in this weird, you know how Lady Gaga wore to, I think it was the Golden Globes, that weird thing with just the little round like things over the nips.
I don't remember that one, but
Okay, so Tracy Ellis Ross wore this red number, and it had those same little like shells over the nips. Those bodacious tatas were out, and there was almost a couple of nip slips. I mean,
so it was like full boob with nip covered.
Full side boob, full middle boob, full boob everywhere, with these little tiny red things that just barely covered the nips.
I'm surprised the Academy allowed that.
I know, because there's such a bunch of stuffed shirts that, you know. So best dressed, okay, by the way, lots of slut strands going on.
Oh, lots. I'm telling you.
Lots of slut strands.
That is the hairstyle right now.
Lots and lots of them.
That's when the hair is just a couple pieces right in front and you have the rest pulled back.
Yes. Red was a big thing on the carpet.
Okay.
Kirsten Dunst in Christian Lacroix, looked beautiful. Penelope Cruz and Chanel looked beautiful. Zoe Kravitz was in Saint Laurent, and she looked beautiful.
What was Jessica Chastain wearing?
Oh, she was in Gucci, and it was gorgeous.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she was probably one of my favorites of the night. And then Ariana DeBose from West Side Story.
Oh, yeah, she was great.
Yeah, she was in Valentino. That was red as well. And it had those kind of weird little, but they were bigger kind of pasties over the nips. Nicole Kidman was in Armani Privé. Now, this is the thing. It was like a light blue, but it had this, and it was beautiful, but it had this weird like donut around the middle.
That doesn't sound attractive.
No,
or
it was
flattering.
a very pretty dress, but then it had this weird train that went on that looked very stiff. When you got a close up when they had her on the red carpet, she was walking away, and I was like, "Is that thing all discolored?" So I took a screenshot of it, and it was all beaded and embroidered at the bottom of this thing. But it looked like somebody had tried to clean it before, you know, because we've had to do that as stylists, where they're coming out on the red carpet, and you have to clean it something right away. Well, this was all discolored. It was like a yellowy, kind of at the bottom of the train, and it went up in a bow.
Side thing. When a celebrity's wearing all white, she's got a ton of makeup on.
Yeah.
There's going to be times when she gets that makeup streak.
Yep.
How do you get that off?
That's what we're there. We have cleaning wipes and Tide pens. My bag is always fully stocked with that shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, when are we going to talk?
Okay, so wait a minute.
Let's talk.
I got
the
two
show.
more.
Oh my God.
Zendaya in Valentino was
She always looks
beautiful.
amazing.
And now we've got the lead off because our lady of the evening, Jada Pinkett Smith, was in green, Jean-Paul Gaultier, and let's just get into this.
I have theories and I have thoughts.
Okay. So.
You explain what happened in case
Okay.
you were like not watching or listening to anything today and you have no idea what went on.
For those of you that were watching internationally, you got to see the full Monty, everything unedited. We were watching it, and Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith.
Because she's shaved her head.
She shaved her head, and he said, "Oh, I'm waiting for G.I. Jane 2 to come out. I'm sure you'll be fabulous in it," or whatever he said to her. Well, she looked completely annoyed.
Will Smith was laughing.
He laughed, and then all hell broke loose. He went up, smacked him in the face, open hand, smack. You hear the bam. The Oscar logo comes up.
Oh, they immediately went to break?
Went to a break. Then we were like, what's going on? Because we thought it was a bit. All of a sudden, he walks back to his seat and he's like, they completely cut the sound out. So he's saying, yelling twice, keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth. And effing was not effing. It was the full thing. So then Chris Rock says, Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me. Uh-huh. And then it cut to a commercial.
He handled it very well because I'm sure he was in shock if this wasn't set up, but I don't think it was.
You could have heard crickets because when it came back to Chris Rock, you could not hear a sound. And I thought, is the sound still cut out?
Did you watch any celebrities around them and their reaction?
So I have a friend that was there.
Ooh.
And so he said that when it happened, he worked on one of the films that was nominated. I don't remember which one it was, but he called me this morning and he said that as soon as it happened and they cut to a break, because security came up, he went off stage and Denzel Washington, Tyler Perry, and someone else went to the side of the stage and
to Will Smith,
and he was in tears. And Chris Rock was standing up there and like two of his people, I guess, came up onto the stage and all the celebrities were just running. People couldn't believe it. And if you haven't seen Nicole Kidman's reaction, that forehead moved for the first time in probably about 7 years. She was so shocked. God. It was unbelievable.
Here's my theory.
Well, so I asked him, is there an ongoing feud? Was there some sort of a reason that he took such offense to it? So in December, Jada Pinkett Smith announced that she had alopecia, which is an autoimmune disease, and it causes hair loss in some people. So that's why she shaved her head. Mm-hmm. Whether Chris Rock knew that or whoever wrote the joke for him knew that is up in the air.
I think no.
I don't think anybody would be that cruel because they were friends. They worked on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air together. He and Chris Rock did. I believe Jada Pinkett Smith did a animated feature with him.
Look, this is probably what happened. Then the afternoon of the Oscars, Jada Pinkett Smith was getting ready, freshly shaved head, feeling not glamorous, feeling insecure. Honey, I really don't want to go. I'm nervous. Honey, it's okay. I'll hold your hand. Don't worry about it. I'm right here. They sat down. That happened. And she gave that look. And he was just couldn't see straight, saw red.
Yep.
Do you think that could have happened?
Well, my friend told me that back in 2016 on the Oscars, Will Smith was nominated for a film, or was not nominated. He was snubbed for a film called Concussion, which I saw, and I like Will Smith. I think he was brilliant in it. I think he's a great actor, and he is one of those actors that kind of stays under the radar. Like, there's not a lot of controversy about him. There's not a lot of controversy about his wife or his family. They've been married for a long time. I know there's been allegedly people saying that they have an open relationship or whatever. Who cares? That's their business. It's not anybody else's. So when he was snubbed for that nomination, his wife said, I'm boycotting the Oscars this year. I'm not going because they snubbed my husband. And the Academy has been known for being a little, what's the best word to say?
Not inclusive?
Right.
B, come up if you would. Did you see it? And I want to know what your thoughts are. Did you see the slap heard around the world? And what do you think? How do you feel about Will Smith now? Did you lose any respect for him?
Before B speaks, let me.
B is our producer. He's the one that makes all the magic and the fun things and makes this show look so great.
So, this is what came out today. the Academy made a statement immediately after the Academy Awards on their Twitter, and they said the Academy does not condone violence of any form. Tonight we are dedicated to celebrate our 94th Academy Awards winners who deserve this moment of recognition from their peers and movie lovers around the world. So, and shortly after the slap, Will Smith won the Academy Award for King Richard. So, when my friend was there, he said there was a lot of rumblings whether they were going to escort him out, if he was even going to be allowed to stay after this. So today, they're launching an investigation. Chris Rock declined to file a complaint against him. The Academy, Will Smith's actions were condemned by the Academy, launching an investigation to further explore action and consequences in accordance to their bylaws, standards, and conduct in California law, including potential suspension of Smith's membership in the Academy or termination or expulsion from the Academy altogether.
Are they going to yank it?
Or revocation of his Academy Award for Best Actor.
Oh, okay.
So that's what's going on right now.
Okay.
His speech was a little...
He was crying.
He was crying. Then they cut away several times during the speech. And I wasn't sure if it's because his nose was running. He tried to offer some explanation. I'm not sure what it was, but the whole Oscar thing went up again. There, and he said, I'm like Richard was with his daughters. I'm passionate about my family. I fight for my family. I've been chosen by God to spread love and all this stuff. So people are saying, oh, well, you're a narcissist. This isn't what you showed 5 minutes before when you punched another actor in the face. So now there's all this stuff going on. Personally, if you were my wife and somebody made a crack in a forum like that, it wasn't necessary. That joke wasn't necessary.
But you would not storm up on the stage and make a scene. You would talk to Chris Rock afterwards.
Yes, I would have said, hey, that's not cool what you said about my wife at all.
B, thoughts? Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I want to know if you saw it live, if you're a Will Smith fan, if you think it was even real, or what?
I'm definitely a Will Smith fan. I think it was real, but then at the same time, like, I kind of think it might have been like for I mean, that's gonna go viral. I don't think it's gonna get legs. I don't think people are gonna talk about it for a long time. But I feel like they wanted people to, they want people to watch the Grammys.
There's moments in the Academy Award, in the history of the Academy Awards, that go down, like when the streaker took the, stuff like that. They will talk about this for the next 100 years.
Chris Rock's expressions and stuff. He couldn't be that good of an actor to pull that off. It was so real to me. It felt so like shocked.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looked like it hurt. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
That was a clock. If you saw how he went at him, and it was an open.
Yeah.
Did you lose any respect for Will Smith?
No, not at all.
Oh.
I mean, I don't understand why he would want to do that on national television.
Right. With all those people, and you're nominated.
At the same time, like,
it was crazy. Yeah.
He tarnished his win.
Really, realistically, let's think about it. We're in a pop culture age where people are hot and then they're not hot until they do something again. Like, realistically, like, who really gives a fuck?
Well,
Will Smith smack Chris Rock. Like, who cares?
We would be having a whole,
like, obviously they're celebrities, you know what I mean? Yeah. But, like, really, who cared? Like, who cares?
Well, violence. I mean, the whole...
because it's showing that he reacted to being a lot of people were saying you're being a sore loser. You can't take a joke. Things like that.
Sit, calm down, think about it for a minute. Yeah. Don't ever.
Then at the same time, he might have been at his pushing point. I mean, because people have been making fun of Will Smith since Jada said she had an entanglement. So it might be like, man, I'm tired of people talking about me. Right. It might have just been a wrong time.
It was definitely a wrong time. I mean, for sure.
I'm sure we're gonna hear a lot more about this.
Right before we started our podcast, he released a statement. And this is from Will Smith. And it says, violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed, and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of loving kindness. I would also like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show, all the attendees, and everyone watching around the world. I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. I deeply regret that my behavior has stained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us. I am a work in progress, sincerely. Now, this is the thing. Whenever anybody messes up, they all say, I am a work in progress. Every single time a celebrity or a politician or anybody of any notoriety screws up, they all say that. I thought that was beautifully done. He should have never put that part in.
That's the publicist.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally.
Because we're all a work in progress. But if I was to say something to upset you or to upset you, I wouldn't say, I would apologize. I wouldn't say, I'm a work in progress. Yeah. That's such a
It's like a backhanded. It's like a backhanded
really is.
compliment.
It's
sorry. It's like
it's like, well, sorry I did it, but I'm only human. So, but I love Will Smith. On one hand, I see why he did it. I don't advocate violence of any kind, but we would also be having a different conversation, and things would have been a lot different if it was a white actor that would have gone up there and punched a black actor, or a black actor going and punching a white actor. There would have been a whole nother...
For sure.
Oh,
but they're boycott. See, that's why I think that happened too. Because all of like the hip hop and all the rappers and shit, they all are boycotting the Grammys. So there's a guy in Texas by the name of Jay Prince. He kind of discovered Drake, and he's going to throw a concert on the same day as the Grammys, and he's got everybody pulling out of the Grammys to perform at his concert.
And why is everybody boycotting the Grammys?
Because they feel like that the Grammys don't give hip hop it's just due when it comes to getting Grammys, and because Kanye's album didn't make it to the Billboard, right? They wouldn't accept it. So everybody said it because it was. Bullshit.
I think you're the one that said it was
because it's on a device instead of actually an album.
Kanye, genius or crazy?
Genius.
I think he's a crazy genius.
Genius.
Have you seen that documentary?
Yeah.
Is it good? Worth watching?
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely worth watching. For sure.
It's a fine line between genius and crazy.
He's definitely.
Well, look at Howard Hughes. He was a genius, and he was a crazy as anything.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of one. We'll never see another one. Mm-hmm. He's one of one. Oh, love your podcast. I got work to do.
Okay,
I got work to do.
All right, so I'm going to go over a couple things.
Okay.
Lady Gaga and Liza Minnelli. First of all, I thought it was going to be so funny with Wanda Sykes, Amy Schumer, and...
Did you really?
I love all three of them. They were barely on at all, and none of it all fell flat. Wanda Sykes can do no wrong. I love her. It was...
That is
great.
the toughest job in Hollywood.
I can't even imagine.
You cannot win.
So, did you know Liza Minnelli was in a wheelchair now?
I did not.
I did not until she came out with Lady Gaga. And Lady Gaga... So, Liza got very flustered. That's Liza with a Z, not Lisa with an S. That's part of her song.
Okay.
Yeah. Lady Gaga said, I got you. Because she started to get flustered and she had cards that she was supposed to read from.
Okay.
And she just... Lady Gaga seems to really be endeared by these older celebrities like Tony Bennett. She seems to just have a way with them where they just trust her, they love her, and she loves them right back. So that was a very sweet moment. And then I'm going to go over who won
Okay.
Just the main ones. They tried to save time this year while people were on the red carpet, they were handing out awards. So there were celebrities being interviewed on the red carpet, and they were inside handing out awards. So they really tried to cut the time a lot. Best Picture went to Coda.
I got to see that.
I do too.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah, it does. It looks really, really good. Best Actor went to Will Smith for King Richard. Best Actress, Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Do you think Nicole Kidman was like, God dang it?
Well, as soon as that happened, she put on her husband's jacket and was like, I'm ready to go.
She was nominated too?
For being the Ricardos.
I think Nicole should have gotten it. Don't you?
From what I've seen so far of The Eyes of Tammy Faye, she deserved it.
What do you think about Nicole Kidman? She was Lucille Ball.
She was. They were both fantastic. But have you seen The Eyes of Tammy Faye?
I did.
She was unbelievable.
She was great.
So they both embodied people that were so beloved by people. And I think the reason that she won is she, especially with the makeup and the hair and all that, I mean, she looked just like her. I'm sure.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, but I'm sure that was the tipping point because although she embodied Lucille Ball, she looked like her in some parts of the performance, and then others.
Well, I would have been pissed.
I know
they
all did beautiful jobs, but between the two of them, I knew it was going to be one or the other. But and then supporting actress went to Ariana DeBose from West Side Story.
She was great.
She was amazing. Her speech was lovely. So was Jessica Chastain's. Her speech was beautiful. Best Supporting Actor went to Troy Kotsur for Coda. Best Animated was Encanto. Best Director was Jane Campion for Power of the Dog. Best Song was No Time to Die. I didn't even know this movie came out.
What?
Best Editing, Best Sound, Best Production Design, Best Score,
Oh, I know
Best
what it is.
Cinematography,
Yeah.
and Best Visual Effects were for Dune.
I heard it was amazing.
So I knew it was being remade, but I didn't even know it had come out yet.
Oh my God.
Best Costume Design, hands down, I knew it was going to win, was Cruella. Those costumes were amazing.
Not interested.
Oh, you would love that movie.
Really?
Oh, it was so good. I've seen it 4 times.
Really?
And Best Makeup and Hair was The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know where I was last night?
Where?
Driving to Scripps Ranch to pick up some AirPod Pros for $70 for my son, and then going to Poway to pick up 2 stools for this new podcast table we have. And I was like, oh crap, the Oscars are on, dang it. But
these are very comfortable chairs, by the way. You did a very nice job.
aren't they pretty? They're pink. I'm very excited.
Yeah, they're very, very nice.
All right. I'm super excited about what's going on next. We have our special guest, or we'll do your host chat after. How about that? Can we do that after?
Of course.
Okay. I'm going to go to a break. I'm going to go get him and get him comfortable. Get him a beer, maybe, if he wants me to say that. And I'll be right back.
With Jesse Lozano.
Okay.
All right.
Elvis, there we go.
All right, am I in on this one right here?
Yes, you are on the guest black stool. I gotta tell you, I'm a little nervous, Jesse, and I'm not even sure why. Because I don't know, like I was worried about what you think about my house. I was worried about like what you would think about my decorations, and like maybe you had a whole other view of what it was going to look like in here, and that we're in our kitchen. But you know what?
No,
you don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm like, I'm super low maintenance.
I know.
I come from nothing, so I really have no expectations ever.
I cannot wait to hear how you rose to where you are now. And you two have something in common.
Okay.
You guys are both San Diego natives.
Oh, yay.
Yes.
And
We
that's
are.
such an honor to say that, huh?
It is,
It
and
is.
and you don't realize how not common that is, because everyone ends up moving here or getting sent here for the military or whatever it is. You don't meet a lot of people that are like born and raised here.
So before, okay,
Are we on? Oh my gosh.
we're on. I know, look at us. Don't you look handsome?
Hi, friends. First thing I'm doing is cracking a beer. Look at me.
Do it. Okay. Jesse Lozano is on with Jesse and Tati in the mornings on Star 94.1. You guys all know that. But there's so much more to Jesse. And I want to know everything. For example, when you were growing up in Escondido and you went to high school, were you popular? Were you a geeky kid? Were you in with it?
I was right in the middle. You know, I actually had I just unpacked a lot of this in therapy the last couple of years, because I had like 3 or 4 best buddies who were superstar athletes and the most popular guys. I was not on the radar, not even close. And so I watched them through high school, and you know, I watched people treat them differently. I watched them get girls, and I was still waiting my turn. I watched all of that happen, and I was a very patient boy. And I remember when I graduated high school, and kind of like the playing field's level again. You know, you're not. It doesn't matter anymore what your high school status was. And when I got on the radio, I started seeing my opportunity to be the one that everyone's talking about and the big man on campus. And so it really inspired me to get into radio. But the truth of the matter is, having popular friends who kept me in the shadows was like the best motivation ever to do everything that I've done career-wise. And so, I mean, I guess the answer is like I was like right in the middle. Probably not someone that blipped on the radar, but I wasn't getting beat up. You know, I had some buddies taking care of me, I guess. That's how that worked.
In high school, did you want to be something different? Did you have a goal?
Yeah, no, when I was a freshman in high school, I got into ASB, and one of the girls it was gonna be her first pep rally behind the microphone. And I remember I was sitting next to her, and we were at the pep rally, and all the kids were filing in, and she got really nervous and said, "I don't think I could do this. I don't think I can host the pep rally. This is supposed to be my gig for the year." And she said, "Why don't you?" Sorry, but did I pull out? Oh, there we go.
It's okay.
So she says, "Oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this. Do you think you can do this?" And I said, "Sure." And I grabbed the mic. And that day is pretty much when I realized, oh, this mic thing is for me. This is what I need to be doing. I need to be in front of a crowd, whether it's entertaining people. I don't know what it is, but I need one of these mics. And so from then, basically freshman year on to the end of high school, I was Mr. Announcements. Anytime there was a talent show, I'd volunteer to go host it, blah, blah, blah. I did kind of all that stuff which led to radio, obviously.
When you were a little kid,
yeah,
were you a clown? Were you
totally
the family? Like everybody laughed
I'm
at
an
you?
only child. So
Oh.
I actually am a latchkey kid, only child. And I was letting myself in the house in the I was locking the door on the way out and walking to school with a friend and his mom, and then being dropped off in the afternoon. I was doing that in first grade. My parents were not home. So I spent.
Did that mess you up at all?
No, it you know, as an adult, I feel like I really appreciate relationships with people because I spent so much time by myself and hanging out and playing Legos and He-Man and setting up these worlds and having conversations with things that were not real. And I did a lot of that. I was, you know, when you watch Napoleon Dynamite and he's dancing in his room and he comes out and he's slurping the Kool-Aid. When I watched that, I was like, dude, was there a camera in my house? Or like, that was me, you know, and so that's really what it was. I just spent a lot of time by myself. And so, I remember my mom and dad would rent a VHS camera every 6 months. It was like a calendar marking thing, and they would move the couch, and they would let me for 6 months practice dance routines and stuff in my bedroom. And they would rent the video camera. They would put it on the tripod. They would hit record and let me do my thing. and I think we would rent it for the whole weekend. And that was like that was so me back then. Because
what kind of dance routines were like?
Oh my
hip
gosh.
hop? Were they like
No.
Broadway?
Okay,
what?
so there's one where I'm doing Def Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me, and I'm
baby.
and I'm holding a crutch like a guitar because I used to break my ankles all the time because I'm a gangly giraffe kind of. I was very tall as a young kid, and so I'm playing the guitar, but it's a crutch. Then I do an outfit change, and I'm doing full Beach Boys, and I'm standing on a surfboard, and I mean that was like second, third grade. I was doing that kind of stuff at home, and my mom. Even though I liked sports and I had a really good crew of friends that I grew up around in my neighborhood, my mom got me into things like improv class and stand-up comedy.
Ooh, perfect.
At the Escondido Public Library, they had like the littlest 6-person camp classes that you could sign up for, and it was sometimes all ages.
How
I did
smart of your mom.
Yeah, it was. I try to do that with my son now. Everything's so hyper focused. I have a boy right now, and everything is so hyper focused on sports. And I keep telling my wife, there's so many other things out there that he could be practicing and getting into that's not just sports all the time. It's like we're stuck in that mind frame. And I really think my mom figured that out because, I mean, the sports were fine, but I would go to an improv class and have like a 40-year-old partner. And I'm like seriously in 4th grade, and we're doing this skit. I mean, I really learned a lot about just life and kind of what I do now.
Improv is hard. I mean,
God,
it
really
really
hard.
takes brains. I mean, you have to have wit. Okay, at this stage in your life, I want to know when an email comes across at Star, it says still boy toy Jesse Lozano. And I want to know, at this stage in your life, are you kind of like, I kind of want that left off now, or do you care, or how did it come to be?
I am super easygoing. I've always subscribed to like, if you're talking about me, that's a win. I don't really care how you're talking about me. It's fine. I have a super thick skin in that way. The boy toy thing has absolutely been like super annoying forever. However, somewhere along the line when you're doing this gig, you find out what people remember about you and what people think about when they think about you as their favorite radio person or whatever. And something like that really sticks, whether I like it or not. And over the years, there's just been so many people that have been like, the boy toy, you're the boy toy. I remember he was the boy toy, and blah, blah. And it just reminds me like, okay, that's super annoying now. Here I'm this like 42-year-old guy who you got to beg me to go on a hike with you. I'm not getting my steps in anymore. Taking my shirt off at the pool is like a long memory. It doesn't happen anymore. I'm not that guy anymore. And so for me, what would happen in my early 30s-ish, I would bump into people and they would be like, oh, you're the boy toy? And they would look me up and down and make me constantly feel like I was disappointing them. So, and there was a time when I wished it would just go away because I felt like I was constantly very insecure about how I looked when I went out, just in the off chance a cashier would, say, are you boy toy?
You must have been hot, though, if you got that name.
Yes. I mean,
Did you get women? I mean, did you have a lot of girls?
Well, what it was, there was a program in our building. I don't know if when you were with Jeff and Jer, if you were in the building when we did this at Channel 933, but there was a program called the Boy Toys of Summer. Okay. And like when you go to the bar and there's Quavo girls or Corona girls, and they're at the bin, and they get the little Corona tube top, or we were like the guy version of that. And we would get these really tight Channel 933 tank tops. They would hire like 10 of us at the beginning of the summer. It was a 3-month gig. We would get our tank tops. We would get a spray bottle and a handful of Channel 933 spray-on tattoos. We had like little holsters like for our spray bottles. God. And we would go out to the beaches of San Diego, and they would be like, hey, go join the Boy Toys of Summer. They're hanging out at Mission Beach by the roller coaster with the Channel 933 van. You get this and that and the T-shirts and all that stuff. And then the girls would come out, and here's all these like 19-year-old, 4 or 5 of them, 19-year-old guys as the boy toys wearing their tank tops, and we're squirting, on each other's arms and making sure the tattoos on everyone's arm. And, it was kind of like this whole thing, and we loved it. It was like being a promo girl. But I personally was trying to be on the radio. It was the way in the door, I guess. And it was the way on the payroll. But it was so clearly a 3-month gig that I had to use those 3 months to figure out how to stay on the payroll, because I knew it wasn't just the fun.
At that time in your life, what did you think about the Jeff and Jer show, and Jeff and Jer in particular? Do you remember?
I do. You know what?
Did you look up to them at all?
Totally. Not only did I look up to them, I whenever people would tell me I don't know if you're going to make a lot of money in radio. Are you sure you want to dedicate all your time and energy to that? And are you sure you're not going a little crazy and obsessed or whatever? When I was trying to get into it, I was really, really going for it. And I remember thinking, no, because Jeff and Jer, I know they're millionaires. They're millionaires. And they feel close to me. I mean, in San Diego, it feels close. Like, it feels like you can touch them. Like it's right there, very attainable. And so I think that actually kept me motivated. I would have loved to. I have no relationship with either one. I never really met them. I would have loved to. When you guys ended up in the building and I was there at the same time, I mean, I was deep into AJ's show, and I think he was constantly messing with Tommy. And so I think Tommy hated AJ, and I knew how that go.
That was back when everybody hated the other, where it was such competition and everything like that.
Yeah.
But that was when radio was like huge.
Huge.
I mean, you are probably among the last to be on a big payroll.
Thank
I'm
you.
not saying that you're Jeff and Jer money.
Sure. Yeah, trust me. Yeah.
But
I know
you've
exactly
made
what you're
it,
saying.
and you're doing great, but you're like one of the last, like, because it's really not out there anymore.
It's not. It sucks.
What do you think is going to happen in the next 5 years? Like, where do you see your show, your life?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm in a weird place right now because I've been really grinding for like 23 years. I've been on this like focused grind. In the past couple of years, I've really prioritized myself, and not just the past couple of years. I'd say about 2 years before the pandemic started, and then all of my thoughts were validated when the pandemic came around. I do need to be home more. I do need to be more present in my life in general. All the things that we all realized about ourselves in the pandemic. I was already working on getting there as just normally, and so I don't know if I could do mornings, for another 5-6 years, and keep the same pay. I mean, I don't really know how it'll work for any of us when it comes to how this, goes. So for me, I would stay as long as possible. I will definitely say that being able to have like a nonprofit and do things on the side.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Throw events and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's one of those things that it keeps me motivated for everything, because I need to be great on the radio for that to work. And it's kind of just... everything still is dependent upon me waking up at 4:30 and just getting it right for the day and doing my thing. So I'm still here with it as long as I can. But you're right. Who knows what 5 years from now? It's crazy to think about 5 years from now.
Jesse, Jeff, me, Emily, Tommy, Randy, we were doing our show. We had a great show that morning. Hey, can you see us down in the conference room? We want to talk to you. And it was the general manager. And I thought, maybe he's retiring or something.
Yeah, yes.
And he goes, it's been such an honor working with the great Jeff and Jer, but today's your last day on the air.
Oh my God.
I got to tell you, oh my God, I'm going to start crying.
I get it. I get it.
Jesse,
I'm here with you.
It is hard out there. And all I want to do is be on morning radio, because that's what I'm good at. That's what you're good at. That's what's fun. It's the best.
It's the best.
And I'm sure you don't, but don't take any day for granted, because you make a difference. You make people laugh. You wake them up in the morning. You've got a great team. People really love you in the building. And...
I get it. I get it. I never want to see that side of it. I want to be able to leave on my own, because I don't know if I'm a strong enough person to get through something like that, especially with something I love so much. I've been worked for the same company my entire adult life, doing the same thing, and I feel like there's such a mutual loyalty that I would be heartbroken. I mean, shattered. So I mean, I'm with you, and I really do. It's why I try to keep it up. Sometimes when you know how it is, that the big corporations, no matter what industry you're in, as the world's changing, they're requiring more of you, and it's so easy to like be annoyed and to fight it all, unless you can have the perspective that, well, I could also have nothing, and I could not have these things to be, I could not have all this forced across the table that I have to get done or make happen or whatever, and I still, I guess, would choose that. I'll choose the stack of work for now, because it really is the best.
Ratings still like a really big deal? To you, I mean, does it when they come out and maybe you're not number one, or maybe you're not number two? Does that bother you?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. You know why? I feel like going by ratings would be like going by comments, and if I went by comments, I think I would still focus on the few that suck, and I don't want I don't want that to dictate anything that I'm doing. And so the ratings are the same way to me. I feel like it's such a small sample of people that are rated when it comes to actual terrestrial radio that I don't really understand how paying too much attention to that could help me. I feel like it could just hurt me and make me feel like it's too confusing of what do you mean this many people is listening? I thought only this many people actually are tested. And, it's just such a confusing system that I would rather just not think about it. I also don't like listening to myself. I also don't like watching myself on TV. I'm also one of those people, too, that's not real good with that.
Because he's on Fox 5 on Tuesdays?
Yeah, tomorrow morning. Yeah, excuse me. Yes, Tuesdays.
How great is that?
It's pretty cool.
Greatest TV morning show. Great radio morning show. I mean, it's a no-brainer, and it's a great segment.
And we've been doing that for 14 years, him and I.
Are you kidding?
It's crazy. So when I lived in LA for about 7 years, I lived up in Burbank when I moved up there to be on Kiss FM for a while.
Wait, how...
Yeah.
Please stop hogging in the interview, Erik.
I'm sorry. I'm just listening to it.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm asking all the questions.
I'm so ready to
I will
chat,
let you.
so it's like all good.
How did you get a gig at Kiss FM?
Oh,
That's like the biggest station, in my opinion, ever. LA.
Yeah. It's like any person that makes it to the big leagues.
How did you do it?
Lucky. I just feel like I got lucky. I actually, Emily, who's the current co-host with Dave Shelley and Chainsaw.
Yeah.
She had a close friend from Seattle that was working at Kiss FM. That woman's name is Julie Pilot. She was the music director. And one day I was in the hallways when I was working with AJ, and I was probably like 22, 23, and she said, I have a friend up there. If you ever want to send a tape up, I could give you this girl's email, and you can send a tape up. And one day I got really mad at AJ, I think, and I... stormed off and went and made a tape in the room. And did a bunch of fake radio breaks, like a little commercial of myself. And I made this tape, and I emailed this girl, and I sent it up to her, and she responded the same day with like this really long inspirational email that was like, "Keep going, you're almost there. And I was like, "Oh my shiz!" I'm getting a response from her, and it's some good stuff. Okay. So I just kept with that for about 6 months, and they had a guy leaving, and they hit me up and said, hey, we have a guy leaving. Do you want to come up on a Sunday night and audition? We'll let you do it. I went up there on this Sunday night. I messed up the call letters of the radio station. I said it all backwards. It's 102.7 Kiss FM, LA's #1 hit music station. I said 102 Kiss. I said Kiss 102.7 FM. I did it, so backwards. And they still said, you really need to learn how to say the radio station, but you have enough that we are going to give you another audition. And so after that second one, I actually got the job, and I became like the Sunday afternoon guy. I would drive up there every Sunday and kind of hang out for 4 or 5 hours and do my thing and come back. And then it turns into, this guy goes on a vacation, this gal takes her vacation, and I start filling in. And it took about 2.5 years of that, working a full-time morning show in San Diego, Monday through Friday. And then going up there on the weekends, spending all my holidays, Christmas. I'll tell you a really good Britney Spears Christmas story here in just a second.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm in.
Christmas Day. You'll love this story. You will love this story. But I just gave it a 2.5 year just laser focused push, and their afternoon guy Val, who does Valentine in the Morning now in LA, he was ready to go. He was a big fan of mine. He was really pulling for me, and so
see, persistence and then luck and opportunity and the people it's all those things.
All these things. But I stayed very willing to learn, and I did learn that one thing about working in a big market like that. There is so much ego, and there are so many all-stars that if you can show up and keep all that crap in your pocket, everybody responds well to you. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, we got a person up here who's got the skill set and not the attitude and the blah blah blah. And I kind of found that the interactions in that way helped me maybe more than anything once I got up there, I guess.
There have been people in San Diego, morning show hosts, who get an ego.
Yeah.
And there are a few that I can think of who aren't on the air anymore. That is like deadly. You cannot think that you are bigger than anybody else. You just keep being yourself. And that's why you're probably so friggin' successful still.
Thank you. I try. I really just try to be a normal human being. Okay. So let me see you on the Britney story.
Yes.
Oh, I'm in. And then I have some questions.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So
stop hogging the interview, Laura.
I know I am.
It's all good. And I got lots of time for you guys, and you got me a
Oh
beer.
my
I feel
God,
really good
I know
right
you have
now.
to wake up early, but
don't worry about it. So,
okay.
and I used to tell this story. This story does not hit anymore to the high school kids. It used to be part of my perfect high school speech when I would go talk to the kiddos about being on the radio and blah blah blah. they don't even know who that is anymore. When you say Britney Spears like a high school kid, they don't care. So this is like such a story that I haven't told in forever, but this is the perfect place for it. So, oh, you're gonna love this. Oh, I get asked to work Christmas Day up at Kiss FM, and that was kind of my thing for those couple of years. It was holidays, it was all of the brutal shifts, and I get up, I drive up, and I leave my poor daughter's like 2 years old. I got to leave her on Christmas morning. I'm going to LA, going to work. It's just, ugh. I pull into the building and they say, hey, you're not going to believe this, but Britney Spears is waiting in the studio for you. And I said,
and how old is she at this time? Is she launching her career?
She had just married Kevin Federline.
Oh God.
Are you on break right now? She had just married Kevin Federline. And she basically was driving around LA with her bodyguard, going to a Starbucks. When she got to the Starbucks, she said, hey, what's the local radio station around here? And they said, it's Kiss FM. She said, of course, that's right. What's their phone number? She called the request line, said, I want to come down and play a single right now. So,
oh, my God.
At the glass doors, bottom of the building, no one really believed it was her, but when someone's calling the request line saying Britney Spears is on the phone, you still give them the address just in case it's Britney Spears.
Of course.
Yeah. You're in the middle of LA, right? You have to do that. So I guess waiting at the bottom of the building there, the double glass doors, is this gigantic security guard holding a chihuahua with a Britney Spears lookalike standing next to him with no shoes on. It was them. It was Britney.
Still no shoes.
Still no.
Okay,
So
that's
here's the thing.
MO.
We hadn't seen that Britney yet.
Oh.
I saw gas station Cheeto Fingers Britney before we knew that was a person.
Wow.
So she comes. So she comes in the building. I was almost there. They knew I was the next jock on, so they waited in the studio for me. And when I showed up, they said Britney's waiting. She has this single. She wants to play it. So I get in the building and I walk in and I'm like, hi. And she's like, hey. And she looked like hell. And this was not. When I say like hell, completely normal and a person that doesn't have all the stresses of tons of makeup on her face. She just looked fine like a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't made up Britney for the VMAs.
Hair's all ratty, extension showing.
It was all that.
Oh.
It was
wow.
not a lick of makeup, nothing on her face.
Dirty bathroom feet from
Filthy
the start.
black feet.
Oh, this is amazing.
And so she's sitting there in the room. And
I need a cigarette.
I know. I get
I say, okay, I'm going to hit record. If you're okay to sit in front of that mic, let's just have a convo and whatever you want to talk to me about, I'm here. So we start talking, and she says, I really want to play this single. And I said, okay, we're going to play it. We have the countdown coming up. Perfect time. We'll do this. We play the song. And I said, why did you want to play that song? And she says, well, I was sitting, and I forget her name. I should remember this name because I was going to, I knew I was going to tell you the story. Kevin Federline's oldest daughter, I forget her name, she was hanging out with Britney that morning. And Britney was asking her, what's your favorite song out of all these CDs I have? And she said, this one, whatever. And Britney said, I'm going to go to a radio station and have it played on a radio station. So she was there having me play that song so that her new stepdaughter, because remember, they had just gotten married, her new stepdaughter could hear her favorite Britney song as like a personal play, instant request on the air. It was like the sweetest thing ever.
Yeah.
So that happens. We play the song. She takes off. It's that she won't take a picture for obvious reasons.
Oh, really?
No one knew this. Like I say, I'm serious.
Yeah.
No one knew this side of her. When all that came out was probably about 6 months later. That first picture of her coming out of a gas station with jean shorts on, no shoes. That was 6 months later. And then that was the real her, the untethered, just normal person she is. Mm-hmm. So she leaves. She does her thing. Next morning, it's everywhere. Every news outlet has it that Britney is, taking her CDs to radio stations to play for her stepdaughter, because the whole thing was her and Kevin and the wedding, and let's get this, and let's be up in their mix, and that was all the gossip.
And they had that show.
They had that show,
the documentary thing. Yeah,
gosh, yes,
chaotic.
That
Did
was
they
so
mention you
good.
by name?
Oh my gosh, no, absolutely not. But they had a sound
Did you
clip.
get to interview her?
So I interviewed her in the radio in the radio station that day. She was there in the studio. We did an interview. The stuff that I played back on the air, including her single and everything else, and the story talking about the stepdaughter, that was the audio clips that were picked up by E! And all the news networks. And they never used, they never said Jesse Lozano from Kiss FM was talking to Britney. They just said Britney Spears, does this and that. But when they played the sound clip of her talking, there's my voice.
Oh God!
Chit-chatting with
my
her.
God.
It was just the coolest experience, and so I would use that when I would go talk to high schools and say, raise your hand if you're willing to work on Christmas Day, and none of them would raise their hand, and I would say, here's why you may want to work on Christmas Day and be the person to volunteer. You never know what's going to happen.
Okay, so now I have a
Yes,
question.
go ahead.
How many celebrities have you interviewed?
Oh man, a couple hundred probably.
Okay. What's the best one you've had?
Oh, the best interview. I am going to probably say Gwen Stefani
I have a Gwen Stefani story for you.
or Pharrell. Go ahead. Yeah,
Is she
Oh,
just so drop dead?
She's so
perfection.
beautiful, isn't she?
amazing.
She looks like a Vargas girl.
I
Yes.
love
Yeah.
that she's 52. It makes
Yeah.
me so happy.
You can't imagine what, you can't believe you're sitting next to a person that looks like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
my
She is so beautiful. Okay. Who was the worst? Oh,
Who wasn't pleasant? Let's.
You know who the worst is? Do you remember? You know that song? They see me rolling, they hating,
Yeah.
they're riding dirty, gotta get me riding dirty. So
Yeah.
that artist. His name is Chameleonaire. Chameleonaire. You remember Chameleonaire? Okay. So that's probably one of the worst interviews ever. And I'll tell you why. At the time, I was in the Bahamas. And we were doing a broadcast at the Atlantis. I was with Kiss FM. They would have me out there to host this big
Nice.
concert that, it was kind of like a radio concert. They'd have 6 or 7 artists out there. And so Chameleonaire was one of them. But that song was it. It was the number one song. And so they were doing interviews, but he was the only one that was doing interviews from his beach bungalow out by the sand. And so they said, okay, we're going to take like 3 of you guys out there to this beach bungalow where Chameleonaire's waiting. You're going to do your interview. And all we had was a recording kit. We weren't live or anything like that, so we're just going to get some audio from him and chit-chat with him. Well, I sit down, and he has headphones plugged in, and he is on a phone watching a phone. And then he has another phone right here that he just keeps checking. And I'm trying to interview him, so imagine this guy's holding 2 phones, not looking at me, and I am just kind of holding a mic in front of his face and trying to talk to him.
Oh, God.
And he just does not want to interview with me at all. And I was feeling insecure. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I say? What am I wearing? Because you don't know in those moments what is annoying the celebrity. Really, you have no idea. And so the interview kind of wrapped, and I went back and I said, I don't think I have any audio from that. He didn't even really want to talk to me. And the other couple of people that went with me, they said that he didn't say anything either. And that was kind of that. And it's always funny because that was the biggest song ever, and you just never heard from him again. And so you always wonder, like, did he treat everybody like that?
Right.
Was that like his vibe to everyone that was trying to help him promote his album?
It's
and,
so hard interviewing people like that. Oh my God, it's hard.
Because you want to say, like, come on, we need to be on the same team. Like, I'm totally here to help you. Like, let's do this.
Okay, I know you're
Okay.
going to have an answer for this, and so will you. Do you remember the worst comment you've ever received? The worst thing that somebody's ever said to you?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because I do. I don't like
What- go
all
ahead.
the great things.
From when it comes to like work and radio and performing and all that, what is the worst thing?
One time, somebody said, please tell Laura she looks like a man. That was one.
Oh my God.
This one was recently when I got my breast augmentation, and I was really open about it. Some woman wrote, this made me laugh. Why didn't you start with your face?
Do you know what my response was?
What?
She did.
I mean, how mean?
Oh my god.
All the nice things. So many fun, nice things. But that's the one thing I remember. Why?
I'm telling you, you two should just put me on the payroll because I'm vicious. I go after those trolls.
He's a troll annihilator.
You're a troll hunter? Oh, I love that. That's how Tati kind of.
Also,
my co-host Tati.
also somebody on fire.
Tati is no joke.
She's the best security
She
guard ever.
is awesome.
Ever.
What is, in
So-
your recollection,
Yeah.
what is like the top of your career? What is the highest point? The thing that is just, I'll never forget this. This was the highest I ever got. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
The most famous, the most outstanding moment
You
that
know-
you will tell your kids about.
It's when I went viral for a video singing in the car
with your
with
daughter.
my daughter.
I was going to ask you.
That was probably
I'm
it.
going to ask you all about that. First of all, how old were you when you had a daughter?
I was 21.
Oh wow.
Wow.
It was like a.
Was it
like
an oopsie?
It was like a Planned Parenthood commercial. It was like, meet the girl, invite her to go to a party, go to the party, hook up that night. She's pregnant. That. Wow.
And
I mean, it was instantaneous, basically.
You were a single dad for a long time.
Yeah. It was definitely crazy.
And that was huge because you shared that with all your listeners. I remember that, your single dad diaries.
Yeah.
So it's him and his daughter. And what were you singing again?
Iggy Azalea, Fancy.
Every single word. And they were
Wait.
so cute. Yeah.
I'm so
I remember
fancy.
that.
Right?
Yeah, that
And we're
was
dancing.
so cute.
So that was literally on the cover of, I don't even know if things can go that viral anymore. And that's why I think it's probably my moment when it comes to the top, because things now have such a short lifespan with comes. I mean, we're already done with Chris Rock and Will Smith. We've moved on. That was 24 hours ago. It was one of the biggest things ever in the history of television. We've moved on. I mean, that's how fast this stuff goes now. So with that, because it had this lingering effect, it was on the cover of every single blog, every single magazine. It was on the cover of Time.com, front page, everything. We got booked to go on Good Morning America. We got bumped because Hillary Clinton wanted to release her book early, and we got bumped for Hillary Clinton, which I took as like a cool thing anyway. It's like, dude, I'll take getting bumped by Hillary. That's kind of cool.
Amazing.
But yeah, that was probably, and I think that because that was her, and it stands to this day, that was her last video she ever did with me after doing a few hundred videos with me on YouTube and stuff. And she told me, was like, I will do this video. This is the last one we're doing. And the last one we did went completely nuts viral. And it was just kind of this like moment. It was the end of this era of her and I making videos together because she was old enough to tell me to go, kiss
How
off.
hard was that, raising a daughter by yourself, working so much, and being so attentive? I must have been, you're 21 years old, and you have a baby.
Yeah, it was tough. It was you know what the secret to it, and people always ask me, is you have to keep your child's parent closer than comfortable. Closer than you're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. That's the only way to do it. I basically, when I moved to LA, I had to move her mom up, and we had to live on the same street. Like, there was really only one way to get it done to where I could be a part of my daughter's life. Mm-hmm. She could have a semi-normal life with her mom. There was only one way to do it, and it was basically drag her mom around on my crazy journey of stuff I was going through, which I did. And I also, my current wife, Natalie, she was with me the whole time too. I've been with her for basically that long, years and years and years. And so they had to find a way to look at each other and just go, hey, we almost need each other more than anything. And so their relationship was real important. So there was a handful of, kind of like the radio career, a handful of things that went right so that we could pull that off, because she was 18 years old, I was 21 years old. None of us, we both worked at Nordstrom, had no, I mean besides radio, I was already, my foot was pretty deep into getting started, but besides that, I mean, it was very...
That says a lot about your character.
Thank you.
Absolutely. How did you meet such a beautiful woman? And
she was my intern.
She is drop dead gorgeous. His wife, and she studio bar. Mm-hmm. She probably has the tightest butt because of. Oh my God, you're so lucky.
She has an identical twin. They're identicals, which is the most awkward thing ever.
Is she married too?
She was. You know what's weird about it is and I always try to explain this to people. Actually, my wife's sister knows that I think she's hot because there's a person on earth that I think is so awesome that I devoted my life to her and I married, and she happens to look exactly like her.
Yeah.
So even though she's never said it and we've never come to common ground, there's kind of this shit-eating grin always like, hey, what's up? And it's like, don't look at me like that. I know that this is weird. And I think it's probably all in my head. I don't think obviously my wife or her sister think of this, but it is so awkward. She's dating a new guy and I'm like, well, I don't really want to meet him because it's got to be a big deal for me to meet him. Well, why does it have to be a big deal? And I'm like, well, because he's going to look at me like, hey, I really like this, your sister-in-law. who looks exactly like your wife. There's just like a
Little
weird
weird.
thing to it. There's just a weird thing to all of it. And I didn't think that I would bump into this kind of stuff.
Oh,
but
that's so funny.
He has a son too, who is
Yes.
adorable. How old is he now?
he's 10 years old. He's
And
my little buddy.
He's a sports guy. A lot of
Yep.
sports.
A lot of sports.
Is he funny too? Do you
He-
think he's gonna go in your footsteps a little bit somehow?
I don't pressure my kids at all when it comes to this stuff, but I would say my daughter would get into this more than he would. He's a little bit more reserved. He is actually more of an athletic human being. He may, I could see him being like a firefighter someday or something like that. He's kind of one of those dudes.
Knowing how hard this is, you're actually encouraging your daughter to do it?
No. I know how she is, and she hasn't found exactly what she's going to do yet. And
Well, she just started college, right?
Exactly. And so I don't know what she'll do, but I do know that if she wants to fall back on this kind of thing, whether it's a YouTube channel, whatever it is, she could be so good at it. She would just naturally kill it. She could probably make a ton of money. I mean,
She's in a sorority,
oh yeah.
and I guess he is the super sorority dad.
Oh, yeah.
Are you obnoxious about it?
No, I'm still a little uncomfortable with all the underage drinking that goes on a college campus.
I was in a sorority. Oh my God.
yeah, I mean,
There's things that go down that you don't want to know and will never know.
and there's moms. When we went to the sorority house the last time, it was like a family weekend or something like that. There was moms on the floor in the sorority bathroom barfing,
Oh, my
because they had
God.
drank too much all day long, and they were acting like they had never been
God.
there before.
Okay, you're going to love this. Something that Jesse does every single morning. I heard the other day. Every morning before he goes to work, he does this one thing.
Poops.
What did I say? I forgot.
3-way.
Oh, my 3-way kiss with my dogs. oh my God!
For a
It's
second,
so
I was
necessary.
like, oh, wow.
So I have these two little Frenchies, Tyga and Grizzly. Those are their names. And when I got the one, she was the best. A couple years down the road, I realized we're very busy, and she's a little lonely. And I thought, I got to get her a second one. We love these dogs so much. And getting the second dog was weird because she's very the older one was protective and wasn't really feeling the new dog. And I was really waiting for the moment where it felt like they were meshing and whatever. And so I would come home and I would greet them, and they would kind of fight to see who could get attention from me. And finally, I decided I'm going to try to get to a point where we can just have a good old-fashioned triple kiss. I come home
that's
and I
cute.
just grab the two dogs' faces and we just big old triple kiss.
That's so
And it took me like months, but now finally I get home and they get up on the ottoman and they get right next to each other like shoulder to shoulder, and I just walk up and I put their heads together and we big triple kiss. It's the weirdest ritual
so cute.
ever.
I love
But I'm
that.
so,
every
oh my gosh,
every
I'm so
show that
sweaty.
we do, I'm going to do that to you.
Do you
and
have a
B.
paper towel? Yes.
That
you
would
guys
be
need to- you guys need to-
B is just like, I'm out of here.
B, triple kiss.
I'm not.
Come on,
he's,
B.
he's
Are
like,
you
no.
into it?
He's
Come
like,
on.
no, I'm not doing it.
The triple kiss is just like so essential in my house. He's like, get me out of here.
Story of my life.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, before we talk about your foundation,
Yes.
I want to know, Erik and I want to know, I think you want to know, can you give us like any advice or encouragement to keep doing this? Because I'm telling you what, this is hard. It's hard to do it well, and it's hard to do it right, podcasting.
Of course. What do you think that you don't have figured out? Because I'll tell you what you have figured out, but what do you think you don't have figured out?
Well, when I post things, when he posts things,
Yeah.
I mean, we get some reaction and stuff, but not as much as I think we should. And I don't know how many people we're touching, and
There's no way to find out how many downloads you get or anything like that?
Yes, on one site, but there's a
Okay.
couple sites that I don't have any access
I mean,
to.
the thing that I've learned about online stuff specifically, and I mean, if I ever have to go specifically podcasting, I hope that this all works and whatever, but the consistency part of it is really, really a big part. And that's something that you have got to give yourself a lot of credit for, because I don't really know anyone who has started a podcast. I'm just going to do it for my house. It's something that's not connected to work, that's I got to do or mandated or what, you just wanted to do it and make it. I haven't really seen a lot of friends of mine pull that off, and it's because of the consistency. It's hard to keep something like this going and keep it consistent. And eventually, and it's kind of the way that radio listening still kind of works. All it takes is one person to discover you, and they'll like you. And the more content you have out there, the more opportunity you have to be discovered. And the more shows you do, the better you're going to get at doing your podcast. What are you on right now? How many do you have? What are you guys on?
Just under 300.
Just under 3. Yeah. So if you listen to one podcast numero uno, what does that one sound compared to today?
It's just me and Erik, and we're talking about the movie It, because we just saw it.
Yes.
And we're outside of Barnes & Noble, and we're just on our phone. And then we used to do it from his bed, and we just lay there and talk about, we used to be really dirty, too.
Really?
You don't, why did you stop that?
Well, we decided that we had to elevate it a little bit.
My mom got down on me about that.
In the middle of the podcast, I'd be like, oh, my burrito's kicking it. And I'd poop right in the middle of the podcast.
That wasn't so bad, but when we talked about giving blowjobs, that was a whole other ball of wax.
I don't know, though. See, I do feel like there's a place, but that is the thing. It does depend on what you're trying to do and how big of an audience you want to have. You don't want to get too niche where it's just like, specific stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would say the other thing I would do is I have never been on anyone's podcast before.
What?
You haven't?
I have never. No one's ever asked me.
Oh, my God.
So what I want to say is you need to keep identifying those people in your world, the people like me who also have a platform or a podcast or whatever that support you. And I support you. That's why I came to do your podcast, because
you're so good.
I really want to help you,
nice.
in any way that I can. So that's the thing. You look at your phone book. I bet you there's more people in there in that way that will support you and come hang out with you and do your thing. And then that turns into that's what I learned about YouTube, was how some of those first YouTube creators really got on. A few of them were able to sell production companies, YouTube production companies, for $100 million stuff that was literally setups in homes like this and whatever. What I learned from them was that they all clicked at the same time and realized the collaborating is one of the biggest parts of growing your audience. And if you are constantly dealing with other people that have audiences, oh my gosh, it's the consistency part. You got to keep at it, but it trickles down. You got to have the chemistry, but it'll start trickling down. You'll start to see the residuals of like, oh, we got like 3 or 4 new followers from that person we had on and their fan base. And it really starts paying off. So I think you guys have a lot of really good things going, and you should feel great about it. And I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. We're glad that you're here.
I'm going to tell you something that a psychic told me
a
week ago. She said, are you going to get uncomfortable now?
You don't like psychics?
Maybe. I don't know.
I always make him uncomfortable during some point in the interview. So I asked her, I said, will there ever be an opportunity for me in morning radio again? She does the tarot cards. She flips them. She goes, there will be an opportunity, but you're going to have to fight for it, because people are trying to keep you down at work. She said this. She goes, people are talking shit like it's junior high school. One guy in particular.
One guy in particular?
And I'm like, who could it be?
We both know.
I think I might know, but I don't know.
That's
but
so
I was like
interesting.
sad about that, because
Why would that make me uncomfortable?
I don't know, because I
I
might
thought you were
make
going to
him
say something about
uncomfortable.
me dropping dead or something.
I really,
would make
and I
you feel
think
uncomfortable.
it'd be awesome for I would love for us to be on morning radio again. I haven't given up on radio.
I love hearing you say this stuff. You know that, right?
I love
Yeah.
radio. It's in my heart. I did shows when I was a little girl.
Yeah.
Like, is it ever going to happen for me again? I've been crying all day about something, so don't. Like, Jesse, it's so hard. It
But I
really
feel
is.
I feel like what you're doing right now is the best road towards that, because I do think you would be best served on the Laura Kane show on the air. I don't know if the days of you being a third mic, a passenger, if that makes sense. Ellen K from LA.
Yeah.
She has had an incredible career, super amazing. She personally molded Ryan Seacrest, in their time together, and you thought it was over. And then she got her Ellen K morning show, and now is top of the mountain. She's had so many different chapters of her career, and they all keep getting better and more awesome. And that's what I see for you more than anything. If you're going to be back on a morning show, it's your show.
Should I keep bugging people? Should I
Yes.
keep like
Yes.
I want. You know what?
talking to
I'm going to tell
Melissa,
you.
talking to Joe Hayes,
Yeah.
talking to whoever about us? Because I think we'd be
Do you know
great.
people in LA?
No, not
That's who you
really.
need to talk to.
Why?
There's a lot more decisions. There's a lot more decisions in our company that are made out of LA, and not to any fault of the wigs in our building at all. It's just the way we have a major, gigantic, nationwide, international company, and so it just kind of is the way that it is sometimes. And
That's good advice.
there are a handful of decisions and things being carved out in the LA market that you would be very surprised. Stuff on a national level through our company, that's pretty big deal stuff. And if you can somehow get on somebody's radar there, which I'm sure you know somebody, Laura, I'm positive.
I do.
And start getting in front of people up there, because that's the other thing. In a time right now where no one wants to come into work anymore, like this is the time to get in front of people that can make
We
decisions.
would.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
sometimes I feel like, am I too old? It sucks to feel that
mouth.
way.
No.
I get it. I feel like that too. I still am on Kiss FM, even though I'm not on a full-time basis anymore. And I feel way more comfortable on a Star because I'm 42 years old. I'm a dad. I feel like I'm right center in the middle of that target demographic. In LA, I mean, I'm talking to 16-year-olds, and I really have to constantly pay attention to what I'm saying because I really don't want to sound like an old guy.
But
I don't
there's no way you
want-
can, because you have a
But
young
I-
kid and
you're
you
right, but
know
I-
the lingo and everything.
But it's still something I think about every single time I do a show, and that is one of the parts of this job that's kind of unique. You're always thinking about a specific person and what they may look like in your head, and they do have an age, and sometimes that age is younger, and it freaks you out because you feel like you gotta hang in there, and so it never really goes away. And I'm telling you, I feel it probably just as strong as you feel it now. I'm the same way. I feel very insecure about, I guess, my place in that way.
Well, see,
age-wise.
I'm 55 and I act like I'm 12,
Yeah,
so I'm
what the hell?
I know,
need some
it's
of
all
that.
a
Where do I
mindset.
get this? Where do I get some of that? I need to spray a little spritzer of, you know what I'm saying? Some
When
Erik
you're
on me.
52, where are you in your mind?
In my mind,
10 years from now, what are you doing?
I am working at a remote control boat.
Are you
RC
retired?
shop. Maybe retired.
Oh,
And
man, that's
what I'm
great.
not doing is any social media. I'm not answering any emails. I may not even have my notifications on anymore. I've just made myself so available my whole adult life that I just want to stop. You know, I just want to break sometime. I don't want to do it till I'm begging to stop. I want to do it till I can stop and just go be a normal human. For not that I'm some sort of celebrity and I can't live, but
I have two more things.
Oh, I thought you were going to do something else with your
I
fingers.
know.
can I have one more beer? Is that
Yeah,
inappropriate?
yeah.
Sorry, B.
We
Can you
got
grab
a
me a
beer.
beer,
Yeah,
buddy?
I got you a whole 6-pack. You can take
Oh,
it home
oh,
because I don't want it here.
Yes, that's right. Thank you for offering me a beer. I was going to offer. I was going to
course.
ask if I should bring one, but I'm
I
a
didn't
good
know
boy
if
too, and I don't
I
want to
should
be
offer you
appropriate.
one because I'm like, oh my God, he's not going to drink because it's a school night.
No way. I'm here to have fun, guys.
I want to know about your foundation. Plug that thing because it is growing and it is awesome.
It is really, really like just been the most rewarding
Listen
thing
to this.
ever.
It's really cool.
So I'll give you the background of it. We're called One More Win. Why can't I figure out how to open a beer?
Here.
Can you help me, Erik?
Yeah.
God, I got the fancy ones that you can't screw off.
I know. I used to be able to screw them off with my forearm. You know, you just like stick it in there and
Really?
back in the
Wow.
PB Bar and Grill days or at Moondoggies, I would go down and do that.
Who threw me in a pool in Rosarito one time?
Who?
Very aggressively. Cabana Boy Jeff.
No.
Yes, I was with friends. He saw me. He pulled me
Shut
into the pool,
up.
and
He has done a version of that to every one of us. You know that, right? Every one of us has our Cabana Boy Jeff story where he has shook our world for a night or whatever it is. I
Yeah.
cannot believe you're saying that right
he
now.
apologized eventually, but
could be.
he almost got into
Wow.
a major fight with the person I
I've
was
never
with.
seen that before.
Dude, I've seen him jump off the Mardi Gras float and get right into a fist fight in the gas lamp like it was set up ahead of time.
He's the nicest guy. That doesn't make any
This
sense to
guy.
me.
He's it's that snap that a guy gets where you go, oh, look at him. Let's go see what he's going to do. Because you like when you know your friend has lost it, he does that from time to time.
Does
That's
he
really
like
funny.
Cabana Boy Jeff, or is he like done with that?
He loves that
He
stuff.
does.
He
We
loves
should
that
come up
stuff.
with names like that for us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind being boy toy.
Yeah, you should be a boy toy Erik.
But that's copying you.
It's not. He's being nostalgic in a time. I was one of 100 boy toys. I was the only one that made it on the radio. Remember, this was a summer promotion every year.
Something with man. Tan man, which you're not.
Right.
Superman, hot guy.
How about the Invisible Man? Because
No.
I'm so white, I'm
Are you
almost
pretty
transparent.
pasty?
Yeah,
I'm
am.
transparent.
Yeah.
I love that.
Redheads. I grew up in a family of redheads, and my best friend's a redhead. Wouldn't you know?
Let me give you one last note too about your guys' show and your podcast, and I want you guys to have some confidence in what you guys do and how you guys think, because you did something one time you don't even know about that you're kind of legendary for.
What?
Peeing in a diaper.
The two of you.
What did we? What?
So a few years ago, Laura took me to lunch, and she was like, "I have a book of ideas for you. I want to talk about ideas. I want to talk about getting on mornings."
I'm going to tell you about this in a minute. Okay, go ahead.
So we go to Starbucks and we sit down, and you are just like, she had a book full of ideas. I had never seen anything like it. It was so impressive. And so you're telling me all these ideas, and you're just like going a mile a minute, and you're like, oh my God, I got a vampire facial and TJ. And I'm just like, wow, there's so much going on here right now with Laura Kane. I love this. So you, Erik, are in the coffee shop, and you happen to casually roll up to the table like, hey, Laura, hi, oh my God. And so we just chit chat for a little while, and you kind of move on. And so I go back to the radio station, and my boss asked me, because he knew I was meeting with Laura, and he was like, how was the lunch with Laura? And I said, really good, but let me tell you something.
Uh-oh.
I think she planted her friend in the Starbucks.
And that's so funny because that was a fluke, remember?
Come up. No. So don't.
Okay.
I don't want you to say a word right now because I don't want you to ruin it.
All right.
And he's like, and so I'm like, yeah. So I think she planted this really like likable dude that just happens to know her and whatever. And he came over to the table, and then he moved on with his thing, and Laura kept going with ideas. And I think that created a vibe for you in our building, because that was some badass shit to think that you would go to a meeting and have a plant in. And so
That was such a good idea you had.
So Hayes was literally like, what? She did what? I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, wow, I am really like impressed by it. Like it was so just legendary sounding. Like on paper, what you had done there was just nice.
That was brilliant.
That it just started, I think, a vibe for you. And I think it's what helped the initial support for your podcast and stuff, because right off the bat, when you were like, I'm gonna do this podcast, it was, they were telling us we can make sure you guys mention here and there on the air, and they kind of did that. And I think it was because they really believe that you want to be there. And I mean, they want people that want to be there. That's really the goal, you know? And I really think you did a funny thing there that I don't think you understood how it landed, and it landed awesome.
That's great.
Don't wave me down and say that it happened any other way. Own that
it didn't.
shit right
she
there.
made me
That's
go.
Right. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Own every ounce of that right there.
She told me she would kick me in the balls if I didn't go.
Brought it to you, Jesse, because I had it in my head. I'm like, I am the next co-host with Jesse. I feel it. Yeah. I know it. It's going to happen. And I was going into Melissa that day to just pitch it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I sat down on my couch before I left. I was going through Facebook, and I come across a post. Tati joins Jesse on Star 94.1. And I just went,
wow.
What? So I went into Melissa's office anyway, and I'm like, this is a whole different conversation. And then she was encouraging the podcast and da-da-da-da. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Hayes likes me all that much. I just get that vibe.
No,
I think that he's great, but I get scared.
Now is where I get uncomfortable.
I know, because I take it too far. But I'm being honest. I don't know if he believes in me.
Here's what it is. We are the ones, Laura. We are the ones with the problem here. We need positive reinforcement. We need people to remind us that we are doing good.
I think you're both fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you. I need to hear that more, to be honest with you, than I even hear it in my normal life, whether that's professionally or at home or whatever. I love to hear it. But I think that's the kind of people we are. To do what we do, there is a side of us that is constantly trying to seek that approval.
Should we get on a text chain and I'll just text you both that every day?
Can I, like a 6:30 a.m. morning words of the day from Erik? Yeah. Yes, I would love something like that.
So I need to text Hayes that he's amazing?
No, I just think that I think that you need to, like I do, remind yourself that we don't always need someone to tell us that we're great, to think that we are great. And I had a big problem with that when I was living in LA, because it's very cold up there. And their thought is, you've made it to LA, you don't need any more high fives. I still wanted high fives. And eventually I was asking for the high fives. And they were like, geez, someone's a little needy over here. And it's not that I'm needy. I'm really working hard. I'm really grinding and trying to be great. And when no one says, yeah, you're on the right track or you're doing good, it's like really starts to throw me off. And then I get down on myself and there's no one even seeing me. And am I not? So a lot of that is us. And I know that it could feel like a boss, whether it's Hayes or Melissa or whoever you're talking, you're talking with when it comes to leadership in our building. A lot of it, I always try to go back, look in the mirror and go, am I just like really needy right now with my attention? Because I am totally like that. And if I recognize it, it's okay. When I don't recognize it, I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out.
Like, it's not all about me. Like, there's people aren't really caring about me as much as I think they are.
Right. You have to tell yourself that, because I will say, Laura, it's hard to believe that. I want to think that everyone's always got a little thought in their head about old Jess,
And
but they don't.
I'm totally grateful he put me on Star on the weekends, but like, when I'm working from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., I'm like, is anybody listening? And does anybody, making like $50 a shift or something? It's hard when you used to make like all this money. It's just it's very humbling.
Yeah.
It's very humbling. So I really look up to you, and I
thank you.
Pray that you continue this path until you retire.
And look, and I look at it too, like I have the opportunity to keep this thing going, because if you can be good in the morning, we'll still have live local morning shows in the industry. If all the radio shows are doing fake bits and fake crank calls, if we're all just still doing the same 30, 40-year-old radio thing, we are going to lose our industry, And so I really look at it as something that we need to always be improving. The way that we approach everything now needs to be within the fluid flow of life right now. Yeah. My take today, or my take with Chris Brown and Will Smith, today, personally, and it's because I know my audience, it's females listening, you got to pay attention. My take today was, Chris Brown, there's probably not a lot of guys right now that should be jumping on any stage pointing out or making fun of the looks of any woman in any way, probably. It's just not the time for that. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the time for that. And so in my head, I really had to make sure that was my opinion, not what everyone's opinion was right off the bat. Either he assaulted him or he didn't. To me, it was a little bit deeper. It was more of like, well, look, really what happened there is we're just not in a time where we're just poking at people that are struggling with something for any reason, even if you're the best comedian in the world. And to me, that is an important take to have, because we are always moving forward. We are progressing as human beings. We're trying to be better. And I may not have thought like that 5 years ago, but I'm okay with opening my mind in the way that is now and continuing to live my life in that way. And so that's what I think when it comes to us and radio and what we're doing, that's how we'll hang in there, is if we really are companions to other people and we're being real with them, transparent about who we are and what we live through. We're giving them something. And sometimes it's just relatability. Sometimes they just want to know that there's someone out there that is going through a flood in their house and they got to live in a hotel, or, that stuff right there means a lot right now. And that's why we have to keep it going. It's no more fake baloney bits and
what about songs? Do you think we need songs in the morning? Don't you think people want to hear you all the time instead of song?
Well, you know what? I would say that's better.
I'm sorry, this is totally inside. I'm picking his brain.
No, I'm fascinated.
Okay,
that's a question for you more, because I've never even worked in a format where you're talking all hour.
It was hard. I know
come
up with all that content.
That's a lot of chit chatting for 4 hours. So I would say that I hope I would even be good enough to hang in there and be able to pull that off. You know, but I personally like being able to do a great segment and then know we're going to play a number one song coming up, because in my head, it's like, okay, there's 4 minutes of us chit-chatting, and here's another 4 minutes they're going to love. Now we've got them for 8 minutes. I mean, I'm thinking in that way this whole time.
Laura has a top 10 hit guaranteed. It's called Yellow Shoes and Ponytail. Would you like to
I
sing
made
that
it
for
up.
Jesse?
Well, he got in a fight with some dude at Food for Less. Carts and everything.
I'm classy,
because
Jesse.
he goes
I love
off
that.
on people when he's reached his limit.
Okay.
So the guy had a ponytail, and Erik was wearing yellow tennis shoes. So it was yellow shoes and ponytail, shopping at the food mart, trying to find the cheeses that they like. I don't know.
That's really
Yellow
good.
shoes and ponytail, getting into trouble. They're not liking anything they see.
Wait, so you can sing though too a little bit? Is that what's going on right now?
Oh, I just make up songs.
She
It's
kind of
dumb.
sounds like a cross
Country-
between Miranda Lambert and Carrie Underwood.
I was gonna say there's some country vibes going on with you right there when you sing a
Oh
little bit.
my God, no! I'm
Put a
not.
pair of cowboy boots on her and a pair of shorty shorts and a tube top. She's all set to go.
Have you guys ever done a bit where you have to sing a song as honestly and as real as possible, the best you can?
As in, like you're reading it like a Shakespearean play type of a
No,
thing, or
like you're singing it like you're alone in the car and you're
Okay.
trying to do the best you can
yeah,
on
yeah.
the air, and then just do it. It's scary as
yes,
heck,
yes.
but it's funny.
and you just hear it in your headphones, and the only thing the listeners can hear is your voice and what you're trying
And
to
you
get through
can't
in the
joke
song.
around. You have
That's a
to be
good bet.
serious.
Yeah, we may have to do that one.
Oh my God, you guys
We
need
like
to.
that. Yeah, because we like because Tati likes karaoke a lot, and so we could totally like make a play off of that.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We're just brainstorming here, Erik. No big deal.
If I did that, nobody would.
If
listen to
one of
us.
you goes on vacation or anything, we'll fill in. We're not going to take your jobs, but we'll fill
Yeah,
in.
trust me. Well, you said that to me. You texted that to me the other day, and I was talking to the girls about it, Shelly and Tati. And it's like, yeah, why don't we try it one of these times when I'm gone? Why don't you try to go in there and do the thing with
Totally.
Tati and Shelly, which happens here and there?
I
So
would love that.
Yeah.
And I so respectful, and I know that it's an opportunity for me, and it's really nice of you guys, and I respect your show so much. I even asked Tati, I'm like, you know what? We should be friends. Like, why aren't we
yeah,
friends?
she's really the best.
So we're gonna go do coffee or something.
Oh, you are?
soon.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Because I
Yeah.
want to get to know her.
She's like a secret weapon that no one really. She's very underrated, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, she
Very.
is.
So you're going to coffee with Beatrice and Tati, and you and I
Eric.
are going to go for
Let's
coffee.
do
Eric,
coffee,
listen.
Erik.
Jesse and I are going for coffee.
I'm paving our way. Okay.
Me too.
Get meetings. She's collaborating. She's setting up. Right.
She's
You're
the
getting
boss.
Some stuff
I'm gonna
going.
do the LA thing. I'm gonna make it work.
She's the boss.
Okay, your foundation. We
Okay,
never really talked
yeah,
about
so
that.
foundation. So how do I explain the foundation? One More Win is a charity that helps underserved high school athletes in San Diego, and where it started was I graduated high school and did not go to college. I went directly into radio, and I did pretty well for myself. And I felt that a lot of the things that I used in my professional career came from playing high school sports. A lot of the things that coaches taught me, and a lot of the discipline you learn, and a lot of the pushing yourself, a lot of the showing up on time for bullcrap workouts and all these things that you're doing when you're playing sports in high school. For me, that is what gave me the tools I feel like to succeed in life. And so I, in a lot of ways, feel like I owe that part of my life a lot. And so when I finally started making a little bit of money, I went back to my high school and I went to my tennis coach and said, hey, what could you use for this season? And he said, uniforms. So I bought him all new uniforms and a ball machine with a remote control. And I said, you know what would be awesome is if this ball machine right here worked as like another coach, because they're very low budget. And I went to Orange Glen and Escondido, very low budget, no money. And I said, wouldn't it be cool? You have this ball machine and now you have a whole nother court, which is, it's almost like having another coach. And maybe it'll improve you guys enough that maybe you'll just get like one more win on top of your, compared to your last year's schedule. Nothing big. And that's what happened. They got one more win in their schedule that year, and whatever. And so that's where the name came from for One More Win. But that's what really kind of started everything. And so our thought was, let's raise money. Let's let high schools that have no cash, the ones that do not fundraise, the ones that parents are completely not present, whether it's because they don't have any money or because they're busy working or they're just not interested. I mean, it is a huge difference when it comes to this. Some schools have it all. Some schools have nothing. So those schools apply for a donation from us, and 3 times a year we pick a fall donation, we pick a winter donation, and a spring donation. There's usually 3 sports seasons. Every season we give up to $20,000 in resources. So this year we did Warner Springs High School. We donated $20,000 to their high school football team. They got new shoulder pads. We did home and away jerseys, pants, pads. Then we did the Fallbrook High School girls basketball team. We did all new jerseys for them, full warm-up suits with backpacks with their logos on the side. And, you know, these are kids that are showing up to Torrey Pines. And Torrey Pines has an Eagles logo on the side of their van. You know, I mean, they've got vehicles and charter buses. And, I mean, you know, the resources are so unfair. And it's just such the playing field just couldn't be less level. So that's what we do. We raise money all year to do 3 major donations that any schools can actually nominate themselves for.
Can we put the link on we have like a link tree that has all the different links. Can we stick that on now or?
Whenever you want. Onemorewin.org. I mean, it's the easiest way to do it. And you can spell that any way you want. The number 1, the word 1. onemorewin.org. And it's all there. You can donate and you can be a part of our golf tournament, which is coming up July 1st. And I wanted to see, I don't know if this is specific with your podcast that you have to do it at night because it's after dark. Mm-hmm. I would love for you guys to do it at the Rancho Bernardo Inn during my golf tournament. Totally.
We're in.
Can you?
Absolutely. We'll be very.
What date is it?
It's July 1st. It'll be a Friday. You guys can come out anytime you want. It starts at like 1:30 in the afternoon, goes till like 6 o'clock. You can come set up for an hour anytime during the tournament. At the end, at the after party, you can do it whenever you want. But it would be so fun to have you
100%. And let's do the slumber party together.
You know how many? See, that's another thing that you don't know about. That thing gets thrown around our building all the time.
I know, and then COVID and blah, blah, blah.
Everybody wants that Laura slumber party thing to happen. And that right there is a value that I don't know if you get when it comes to our building.
Well, we could all be involved. It would be great.
Where did you have that at? IKEA?
The slumber party?
Yeah, explain the slumber party. I'm trying to remember.
We had it at Harrah's one year. We had it down at the Sheridan one year, and it's take pictures, dress up.
What kind of toys do you sell?
Naughty toys.
Do you really?
Yeah. There's a girl
like a passion party breaks out.
Yes, it's
That's
a passion
pretty cool.
party. Yeah,
totally. My wife would be into
there's
that.
There's pole dancing. You can learn to do that. There's
I would totally do that.
Classes. There's dancing.
Yeah, we should absolutely get that going, and I can really help you. Figure that out if you want to. I feel like
Let's do it.
It's my 7th golf tournament. I pretty much planned this thing by myself, and we're rolling. So.
Can we put the link on the link tree now?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that for sure. Oh my God. Tommy Lee picture.
Yes.
I made you send it to me. What's the story? That's the last question I'll ask. I won't keep you here any longer.
Wait,
you
what?
have to go to work.
Yes.
He sent me a picture with him and Tommy Lee, and there's some story that goes with it.
Yeah, because you were saying some of your favorite interviews or some of the celebrity moments or whatever, and one of my favorite ones is up there right now. Oh, it's up at the bottom of the screen there. When I have it, actually, I think I brought it with me.
Wow, how young were you there?
Oh my gosh, I was probably like 21 years old, maybe.
Oh my God.
22? I don't know where'd my picture go.
He looks fresh in that picture. He looks really young and not too worn out.
Tommy Lee was still the man then.
Was he with Pamela?
Yes. This was. They may have just wrapped it up. They may have just wrapped it up. It may have been like 2002.
Wow.
So the reason. So this is my favorite story. But I have the picture. I just found this picture, and I've been telling this story for years, and it's a kind of an unbelievable story. And so months ago, I found that picture in an old box, and I thought, oh my gosh, there is a list of people that didn't believe this story that I am going to show this damn picture and prove it all. So the picture means it all. The picture means everything, and I'll explain it to you. So I was a huge Tommy Lee fan. Have you ever heard of the book The Dirt?
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's sad to admit this, one of the first real books I read all the way through, okay, as an adult.
And it's a show on
saw the movie,
Netflix or something.
Yes, I've seen the show too, yes. Nothing like the book. The book is incredible because it's, so they can be so detailed. Mm-hmm. So I'm a huge fan. I was a bigger Pamela Anderson fan growing up. I had like the door size poster on my door. I was just, it was just Baywatch. It was just Baywatch orange all around my room. So they were like Jay-Z and Beyonce to me, them as a couple. And so he was coming around the radio. They had, I think they were done. They had been divorced or whatever it was. Their kids were young. And he was doing a tour for, when he was giving music a try as a solo artist for just about 5 minutes in the early 2000s. And he was doing a tour and coming around the radio station. And they were going to do a live broadcast with him in something that they built called the Velvet Lounge. And it was this room with no windows. It was right in the center of the radio station. It's kind of like a performance studio or whatever. They brought all these velvet couches in, all these velvet pillows. And they loaded this room up and made it super sexy. Dim the lights. They had these strippers show up, adult entertainers, dancers. These girls show up. They're laying there in nothing. There was no live streams or anything like that then. So it was just a radio DJ painting the picture of what's going on. I did not get invited into the room. I'm probably the weekend guy, maybe your intern. I forget what exactly I was doing at the radio station at that time. But I really, really wanted to meet Tommy Lee. So I started asking around, okay, so how do I do this? They're here, the Velvet Lounge is happening. What's the deal? What do we do? How do I meet him? And so someone says, well, this is a pretty tight event, but there's a keg out in the back in the back of the radio station in a trash can. He's got to come out of that broadcast room sometime, and the keg is for him. Go wait by the keg. So I said, oh my gosh, okay, I'm willing to do anything. So I go out to the keg and I stand there, and sure enough, the door kicks open. Smoke comes out. I think he's already smoking a cigarette, walking through the building. He's already smoking on the way. Comes out, smoke. He's got his white tank top on. It's just Tommy Lee. He walks out to the trash can. I'm standing right there, and he walks up and he's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan. I would love to get a picture with you really quick. And can you sign this drum head that I brought? I'm like a huge fan." And he goes, "Oh, you want me to sign the drum head?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I will not." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay." He goes, "Until you have a beer with me."
Oh,
and he
wow.
pulls out a solo cup because the stack's right there,
That's
pours
cool.
me a beer out of this keg,
Oh my God.
hands it to me, pours himself a beer. We stand there and chit-chat about nothing like you do in those moments for probably 5 minutes, and it was the most amazing 5 minutes of my life. And someone snapped this photo of it. And so when I finally, found this photo, I thought, there's everything in this, because if you notice, you got the solo cups in our hands. Uh-huh. It's me and Tommy, but in the background is this woman in a robe. That's one of the strippers. She wanted to smoke a cigarette too.
Oh,
I'm just saying, there's this picture, there's so much corroboration in this picture to my damn Tommy Lee story that it was 3 months ago when I was just cleaning out whatever for no reason, and I found this. I just absolutely lost my mind because this moment was so incredible to me, and I told so many people about it, and they were like, "Yeah,
And this is when you had to
right."
wait for pictures to come out and pray
This
that the picture
was
came out.
absolutely from a disposable camera.
Oh
That is
my God.
awesome.
Wow.
But it was just one of my, and so it's weird because now if you watch that Pam and Tommy thing at all,
Yeah, I watched
Tommy
it.
comes off a little rough, man.
He
He's,
does. He kind of comes off as a dick.
kind of
Yeah.
sucks, because to me, I just celebrated him and thought he was just like the coolest rock star, and that's what you did. You were just like a dick to everybody. But that's not how to live life or be.
Yeah. Not
Now
at
I'll
all.
obviously know that.
Well,
Yes.
I've met Pamela Anderson.
No, you have
Yes.
not. In what capacity?
So I used to go up to LA a lot doing styling work, and I worked in the kind of the premise of the film industry for a while. I found them places to live and stuff while they were shooting
Oh, yeah.
films, and she was doing something, and I actually had dinner with her one night, and she was hilarious. I really liked her a lot. She wore no makeup. We were at a restaurant, and a gentleman came over while we were eating and just threw a piece of paper at her and said, "Sign it." And I said, "She's eating, so she won't sign it." And she said, "I wish I could carry you around with me everywhere." I was like, that could be arranged.
Oh my, you've always been like
He's
that.
like a bodyguard. He's your Tati.
good.
That is
I'm
what Tati
very
is.
protective. Yes.
Always been that way.
So, yeah, you guys have to do a show together. You always
I
have to
know.
stay together. You have to stay
I
together.
know. Is there anything you want to plug or say or plug your show?
Yes. Okay. I'd love it if any of you Laura Kane fans, because I know there's a lot of y'all out there. I know if you've ever turned off Star because she wasn't on there, I'd love to get you back on. That's really all I could say, really, Laura, because I know you have a big fan base, and I'm just like excited to be on your podcast doing this thing right here.
Oh my God.
OneMoreWin.org is the name of our charity website. The most important thing I have to say with that is that if you'd like to nominate a team, you can go nominate. The process is super easy, and you jump on our website to do it. You could be the coach of a team. You can be a parent of a player that plays for an underserved high school program. You could just be a neighbor that knows of a great school that's struggling. We'd love to know about it. And search Jesse Lozano on any social media platform, Lozano.
You guys have a podcast too, Jesse and Tati.
Oh, Jesse and Tati podcast. You can get that on iHeartRadio. And those are the plugs.
Thank you so much.
Heck
This
yeah.
has
Thank
been
you.
so enlightening. You're so inspiring, and
thanks for saying
I'm
that.
so proud of you. Can I be proud of you?
You can be proud of me.
Oh
yes.
my God, I'm so proud of you for making it in this industry
Thank
and
you.
really doing it. And you have properties, and you're like a big deal.
What the heck, right?
You are.
What the heck
You've got
happened?
it dialed in.
Well, thank you. I will say that keep doing your thing because you're
Okay.
absolutely like I can't believe you can't. I can't believe you don't feel like you're on the right path. 'Cause
I do, but it's just hard.
I really want you to own it and believe
Okay.
it because
Okay.
you're doing a lot more good than I think you even are getting credit for, and that's okay. Remember that. It's okay if you're not getting the credit. You're still doing the good work. I
We
know
just want to
you
make
are.
sure that we provide our listeners and viewers with something that they can take away, you know?
Of course.
That we're
I
not
get
just
that.
silly and this and that. So,
Yeah,
and
no.
he's hysterical, and I love him, and I'll be with you.
And you
all-
planted
love
him
you
in a
too.
coffee shop one time intentionally, like a CIA
That
agent.
Badass.
crazy.
So badass right
Yeah.
there.
Oh my God, I
Like a
love
baller.
that
Is
they
it
were
International
talking about
Women's
me.
Month still? Because she should be celebrated again.
Yeah.
Am I right?
What?
Yes.
Is it International Women's Month still? Because we should
yes.
continue celebrating
Thank you.
Listen, if you were a stamp, I would lick the back of your head.
Oh, thank you. You're so wonderful, so beautiful. All right. So we end each podcast with a little saying. Will you say it with us? I'll do it first, then you do it.
Okay.
And then Erik does it.
Okay.
And we'll do your host chat on Thursday. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, don't be sad.
I won't be sad.
Okay.
It's
here we
less
go.
that I have to do for Thursday since I've already done it.
Thank you, B, for
Thank you, BT.
making all these cool things for our show and the opening and making us look cool. I appreciate it so much. You're awesome. And love your podcast.
Love your podcast.
You know, I've had such a good time tonight.
You're not doing that
This always
tonight.
throws her because she doesn't like the way I drag things
He
out.
keeps going and going. He thinks it's funny, and it's so annoying. Like,
Wait, how does he get off the
especially-
phone? Do you say no? You say bye. No, bye. No, you say bye.
He's just, he's the kind that sticks around, and he wants to talk more, or he's having fun. It's like, no, it's, as a radio person, I know when it's time to
Yeah,
end.
you have an internal ticking
we
clock.
know when it's time to end a bit.
She calls it locking out. I call it, this is just the beginning.
Isn't that what we call it? We're going to lock out.
Lock out.
Thank you. See?
Love your podcast.
Yes. Love you, my sweet babies. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Hit the like button.